Hi guys, Shamian here. I'm preparing to do oil lamb for you all, right? Oil lamb consists of breadfruit, right? Seasonings, pickled or salt meat of your choice. I will be using smoked turkey or even smoked meat. And you just boil up everything until it's done. But of course, I will show you all how to do it. So, but first, for the coconut, you will need ground coconut, right? ground, finely chopped, right? It should be chopped like this or smaller, but you want to do it like this. I like it this size. You get it in your blender. I'll show you all after what consistency, because we want the coconut milk, not the water of the coconut, the milk. There is a difference, okay? All right. You only hear me when the blender is on. Just a little bit more, right? For those of you that don't own a blender, I don't know who doesn't own a blender in this day and age, but some persons are very traditional with a lot of stuff. For those of you that don't have a blender to grate your coconut, you can use this. We grew up using this device right here, right? It's a box, traditional box grater. Well, my one isn't a box, it's shaped like an octagon, but you get the idea. So this is the side that we would have used back in the day growing up to grate the coconut, or this side, right? You don't want to do here, you won't get the juice out of it, the milk out of it, sorry, properly, right? So you can use this in place of this, but this makes you go by so quickly, it isn't funny, right? Right, so now that I have that out of the way, I'm just going to add a little bit more water into the blender. Remember, we can always add, right? I didn't want to cause spillage and all these things, so I was playing it pretty safe, okay? So we're gonna blend again, you won't be hearing me, okay? This is what it should look like. You can even go finer with that. I'm gonna go just a bit finer, right? Because you really want to be able to squeeze it to get every drop of the milk out of it, okay? So I'm just gonna go for a couple seconds again. About there is where I stop, right? To get the actual milk out of it, I'm going to show you all. It's a demo, so let me just show you guys quickly how it's done, right? I'm going to need a big, you always want to play it safe. You want to keep over big, but you need something that's big. I have like, okay. Right? So to get the milk or the juice out of it, you will need to use this. It's called a strainer back here in the Caribbean, at least in Trinidad. It's in the wider part of the world, it's known as a sieve, right? So you're just gonna cover it over a bowl like that, and you go from there. I'm just gonna show you guys, at least with half of it, how it goes, right? Once you get the juice, the milk out of the coconut, refrigerate it, please. And this is like 100% pure coconut milk, right? You see what I'm doing? I'm squeezing it with my hands. I'm wearing a gloves, vanilla glove, food safe glove. right? So I'm squeezing the milk or the juice out. The milk, not the juice, with my hands. And this is how we always do it back here in the Caribbean. This husk can be used for a number of things right here in the Caribbean. Coconut bake is one of them, and sugar cakes, right? Or candied coconut, as you will call it in the USA, right? It's something totally different. I'm staying on course because, of course, I'm not doing either of those demos, right? Might as well I do the whole back bit of it and done. That was 2 medium-sized coconut, dry coconuts. Right? It have the same name that I know of even in the US. Right? I know a lot of people that's into the health thing, they like the juice of the coconut, the milk, sorry, of the coconut. There is the coconut oil for cooking. You know, coconut is well received, the benefits are tremendous. So like I say, this is first part for me, for my oil down, okay? So it's just easy to get the milk out of the coconut. And we are done. Wasn't it easy? Instead of using store-bought stuff, that is how easy it is. The milk is rather creamy. Once it cooks, in whatever it goes in is reduced, it's very rich with coconut oils. It reduces almost to oil in whatever it's placed in. It's a nice gloss, right? So that's first part of the oil down. And I'm gonna get things going now for the oil down. Okay? So let's watch. So this is what the breadfruit looks like, right? It's green on the outside, right? And this when you cut it, this is what it looks like, right? There's some little seeds in it. You're gonna have to take out the seeds, right? It's literally like the core of it, right? When I look at it, first thing that comes to mind is an apple. So you just have to take out this and of course peel it and get it into the sizes that you want it in. In the Caribbean, here in Trinidad, we roast it whole over open fire. We roast breadfruit, right? There are other ways to eat it, of course, but I am focusing on it being done or in oil down, right? So this is what it looks like. I don't know what it's called in your country or nation, but this is how it looks, right, guys? So we're gonna get ready to put it together. So this is what the breadfruit looks like once it's clean, right? You have to move fast with it because it gets about this color. It's like potato. I guess the starch in it causes that, right? So this is what you will need really to get a good oil down going, right? Remember, I covered the coconut part of things already. So I'm just going to do some fresh seasonings. You guys want to really do the fresh seasoning. I'm going to do a blend of tomatoes, garlic, onion, and parsley, which is what I always do. I put a bit of side into my seasoning blend, right? So you just watch. It's gonna go by quickly with the seasonings, right? So I'm just gonna start with it now. Out of a bundle of parsley, I will use half. This is the crinkle parsley. This isn't the flat leaf, right? Everything was washed beforehand, right? Still moist and nice. When you're working with parsley, always save some for garnish once you can, okay? So I'm just gonna like give it a rough chop, like really rough, because I don't want this sticking up in the mini. You realize I'm using my mini chopper or my mini processor, right? So this is gonna rough chop it. And we go from there. Yes, you can use shadow bending there too, but I like to keep my seasoning blends very simple. For me, less is more with seasonings, right? For seasoning. I don't like to taste too much of high seasoning and salt in food, right? So I'm just gonna cut the other one. I would say to use about 6 tomatoes because it's 2 medium-sized breadfruit as your salt, right? You have to use breadfruit depending. I'll also use a shadow bending. And next thing why I really like fresh seasonings also is that it doesn't have good shelf life at all. So you think you are doing yourself a favor by buying bulk in these things, you're going to realize that you are not doing yourself a favor. What you will end up with is a lot of wastage on your hands. I'm going to just use 2 cloves of garlic, right? I'm going to use 2 cloves of garlic. Like I said, everything is going in there. I'm not going to separate anything at this stage. However, I will be keeping some of the parsley to chop it finely for after. You all know I like garnishing with parsley, right? Depending on what I'm cooking. If I'm doing something else and it calls for chive, I will use for chive to garnish, right? This onion is like really nice. It's a good size, so I'm going to use just one. It's not a small one, it's not too big. It's regular onions. It's not white onions or any such things. Onion flavor is better using this. I wouldn't suggest shallots or anything like that. It might be a little too mild, right? So we're gonna go in with that now. I'm just chopping things because I don't want the processor. It's a mini one. I don't want it, but a small one. I don't want it to run into any issues, right? So I'm just cutting everything, rough chopping everything, I should say. I'm just going to use one of these sides also, a whole one, not part, a whole one. Anything with side, it releases that juices that's of a more slimy consistency. So when you're using it, you want to make sure that your blade or whatever device you're putting it in is in good working order, okay? Because it's going to cause a bit of a jamming. I won't be using water in this. A lot of my seasoning blends, I don't use water in it, okay? If I'm doing soups and so forth, let me move my garbage phone. Yeah, if I'm doing soups and so forth, I won't add water. It's not necessary. It's going to discolor the food also if you do that, right? You won't be hearing me when the machine is running. Just a sec. So like I said, you won't be hearing me when the machine is on. We're going to check if anything needs pushing down and so forth. Yes, I need to assist with some pushing on this. Alright, it's almost done. Less than a minute and it will be ready to use. It smells just amazing. There is nothing like using fresh stuff. So there is where I want it to. Right? I'll show you how to use up the seasoning blend. This blend is used for my peas and sometimes the stew of my meat and so forth. This is what it looks like. I'm wearing a glove. Right? So that is what it looks like. I'm going to start with that now. Like now. Sorry about that noise. I'm just going to put some oil in the pot. Usually you don't have to start it that way. There's a next way you can start it. I don't want too much oil because the coconut is oily. There's a next way you can start it, which is by just putting everything in the pot. But I like to flavor my oil, and to me the only time it really does that is at this stage, right? No burning of garlic. I don't do it that way. I don't want that taste or flavor in my oil. I'm not going to use all of this up front either. Right? Kitchen smells just like wow. You know what I mean? The turkey, right? And then we are going to add the breadfruit, followed by the coconut milk to cover everything. That is about 3 pounds of turkey, yes, smoked turkey, right? And then it's good. But I prefer the wings because you don't have that much bone in the turkey wings, right? So I prefer I prefer the wings over the legs and it's a bit troublesome to eat the leg at times. I'm adding the breadfruit now. Then I'm going to add the pumpkin. Pumpkin is very lovely and it gives it lovely color. Right? Now we're going to start adding the pumpkin and then we're going to do the milk, like all of the fresh coconut milk. That's not too much pumpkin. Right? It's pumpkin. It's not in water, the pumpkin. It's pumpkin that I cut and I had in the freezer to save on the wasting. I don't like to see food waste. Right? So I'm gonna add all the milk like I said. The thing with it is you want to make sure it's cooked. That's all you want to do. Right? After adding milk, I'll add some sea salt. Right? I still want to put a little more water, a little more liquid in there. I said water, but I want to put a little more liquid. You see the nice brown parts of the coconut. You know it's real coconut when you see that. You will see that if you're using the back stuff. Right? So I'm going to add more liquids. Let me just stir to see what's going on, because the breadfruit in reality doesn't take long to cook, right? So if you add too much, you might end up, you don't want it too soupy, but then the smoked turkey also needs to cook, right? So you have to take in mind a lot of things when you are cooking, not just one aspect of it, right? I'll add just a little bit more water, nothing much. Remember I said monitor, right? And I'm going to add a little more seasoning, and I have 1 Scotch with pepper, a little more liquid, right? I am using a pressure cooker pot, but I'm not going to pressure this oil down, okay? I'm not going to pressure cook it. I don't want it to shake. Right, so I'm using coarse sea salt. Remember I said already that when we are using coarse, we always use less. And keep in mind also that it's smoked turkey, and when we are talking smoked meats or sausages, there is sodium in there, like lots of it, so always be careful, right? Now is where I'll add some more seasoning. It looks too bland for me. I want to see my pot pretty, really pretty with seasonings. Not overdone or over seasoned, but I just want to see it looking pretty. It's just a bit too bland as it is right now. So we're going to put in a bit more. So about here is what I wanted to see when it looks this way, right? We're going to go by quickly like I said. Wild down is this really nice, like comforting food. It's like it has this something about it. There is something about it. It's almost like mashed potatoes, homemade mashed potatoes made from scratch, right? I'm using 1 Scotch bonnet pepper, right? Or bonnet pepper. Yeah, it's always this rich, really intense, nice, creamy. It's almost like you can't explain it when you are having a good oil down, right? You want to make sure your pepper stays at the top, right? So this is how easy it is to put oil down together, right? It's just easy. Remember the salt, everything was added. I add fresh seasonings as you all saw, right? And I will show you all the consistency that it should be, right? There is a certain consistency that we always look for with oil down, right? So you can see it's a good thing I didn't use much of the oil, because if you look closely, you're going to see that gloss in the corner there, because remember coconut, fresh used coconut always contains its own oils, right? So at the corner of the pot, you'll see that nice gloss happening. And that's why we call it oil down, right? Some persons will add other provisions in their own. I keep my oil down, strict up breadfruit. I don't even put dumplings in it, right? You all know I don't kid you all. I love to be real, and I don't come on the show and do things different to how I usually do it if I'm doing it off of the show or my channel, okay? So we're gonna see the outcome of this beautiful oil. Now for me, the starter is always important when you're cooking. For me, it's just lovely. It looks lovely. And like I said, it's always so nice and comforting. There is something about a nice bowl of oil now. And it touches you like no other food can't. I'm being real, right? So we're gonna see how it turns out. I hope you all try it, right? Okay. So this is where the oil now reduced to. This is where it reached, and this is when you know it's done. Right? You all remember I started with a lot of coconut milk and liquid, right? And this is where I am presently. You are seeing the oil in it. There is where it gets in from. Remember I told you all that coconut milk, it reduces to oil once it's cooked. So here you are seeing it, right? So that's where it gets in the oil down from. Remember, I use smoked turkey. It's just lovely, right? The oil, the breadfruit, it's very tender at this stage. It's very like extremely tender, right? And that also adds to the gravy being what it is. I'm just going to show you all texture. We might just go straight through that breadfruit, right? Breadfruit have a really lovely flavor. As I said, it's quite creamy, right? The hot pepper burst, it's okay, it's not a very hot pepper, I must say, right? So this is about the texture that you are looking for, and yes, it sticks together when it's this is how it looks, right? This is what you want to have. It smells just lovely, by the way, right? So this is what you want to have. It's really hot because of course it was cooking, it's freshly cooked, right? So I'm going to just put it into a bowl and garnish with some freshly chopped parsley, right? For you all to see. You all know I love food against white, right? The turkey don't need to be boiled or anything beforehand. It is smoked meat, right? So I'm plating, I'm bowling it. I love the shape of this bowl for a number of reasons. And you all know that I love white with food. I know it's no secret, right? The scent of this thing is like, wow. It's like just wow. There is no words, right? You are seeing the fair, nice amount of meat. Turkey, smoked turkeys in there, right? I wasn't bashful about the meat at all. No one have to be wondering, but where is the meat? And the next good thing about it, the turkey doesn't like melt away. You know, sometimes when these salt or pickle meats are cut too small, it tends to melt away when you are doing a particular, when you are using it in soups and things like these. No, this maintain it the turkey maintain the texture, just lovely, it's just gorgeous, right? I'm gonna just put it on to garnish it now at this stage. Right, be careful though, when the breadfruit is hot, it's like an adhesive to the skin, it sticks. Right? So you see the seasoning coming through, but it's just vague, so I need it to be brilliant, to be bright. I just love garnished foods, right? If the dehydrated is all you have, or you only have shadow belly, feel free to use it. The combo of seasoning blend I use is a blend that I love. I keep my seasonings very simple, and I guess that's why a lot of persons are able to follow my way of cooking, because I keep it very simple. For me, with cooking, less is more, right? So you guys saw how easy it is to make Trinidad and Tobago oil now. It's just so good. It's like you can't capture those flavors or that medley of flavors if you cook another dish. I kid you not. Right? So guys, I will be with you all soon. It was my pleasure. As always, you guys know the food business is all over social media. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, of course, all under the same name, Food by Shamion. The email address for the business is foodbyshamion, CHAMION @gmail.com, or command letter. Alright guys, I'll be with you all soon. Bye.